Emily Henry, the name we all associate with lighthearted contemporary romance filled with witty banter and heartwarming moments, is back this year with something completely different. Great Big Beautiful Life isn't your typical beachy summer love story. It's an emotional journey that digs deep into the past, questions the meaning of truth, and asks an important question: are the stories we tell about ourselves the real truth, or just the version we choose to live with? If you loved Book Lovers or Beach Read, get ready for something new, quieter, deeper, and maybe a bit harder to digest, but definitely a story that will stay with you long after you close the book. Let's get started. The story follows Alice Scott, an optimistic journalist, and Hayden Anderson, a tough, no-nonsense biographer. The two are competing to write the memoir of Margaret Eves, a former socialite and media icon who, after years of hiding away, has finally decided to let one of them tell her story. The setting is magical, Crescent Island. The sea, the isolation, and Margaret's grand old mansion give the book an almost vintage movie vibe, elegant yet mysterious. Emily Henry plays with two timelines. One, the present, Alice and Hayden trying to earn Margaret's trust on the island while navigating their growing emotional tension. Two, the past, Margaret recounting her life, her youth, her rise to fame, family secrets, and the life-changing decisions she made. What's most intriguing? Margaret tells two different versions of her life story, one to each writer, almost as if she's testing them. It keeps you asking, what's the real truth? Why is she doing this? Who will she choose in the end? And how will the one she doesn't choose react? Oh, and will sparks fly between these two rival writers? And now, let's talk about the characters. Alice Scott, a former lifestyle journalist who moved into biographies out of genuine human curiosity, not ambition. She's compassionate, seeing journalism as a way to understand people, not expose them. Warm, optimistic, and able to see the good even in bad situations, her character adds a lot of emotional warmth to the story. Personally, I loved her outlook on journalism and her life philosophy in general. Hayden Anderson, the complete opposite, famous, emotionally guarded, and convinced that truth must be told no matter how brutal it is. As the story unfolds, you realize his harshness is a defense mechanism shaped by disappointments in his own life. At first, he's frustrating, but eventually, you can't help but empathize with him. His slow-burn romance with Alice is beautifully mature and realistic. Margaret Eves, a former star, the embodiment of old-school glamour and full of contradictions, brilliantly manipulative when it comes to controlling her image. She's the real heart of the book, and her conversations with Alice are some of the best moments in the story. Side characters. The side characters, like the innkeepers and neighbors on the island, add a cozy, community feel. Nothing felt unnecessary. They genuinely enriched the atmosphere. Key themes. 1. Truth versus the stories we choose to tell. Every character has their own version of events. The whole book asks, is there even such a thing as one single truth? There's an old saying about stories, and how there are always three versions of them: yours, mine, and the truth. 2. Legacy and memory. Margaret's biggest question: what's left of us when we're gone? The image we carefully craft or the raw truth people see? She wanted to be remembered as a flawed, emotional human being, not just the glamorous star or the scandalous rebel. 3. Love and sacrifice. This isn't just a romance. It's about the sacrifices we make for the people we love, even when it breaks us. 4. Self-forgiveness. Almost every character learns to forgive themselves before they can forgive others. What I loved about the book. Complex characters. Emily Henry's character work shines here. Margaret, in particular, is one of the most layered and fascinating characters Henry has ever written. She felt real. The atmosphere, Crescent Island and the old mansion are described so vividly, you feel like you're walking through the story. I found it slow at first, but later I appreciated how much it added. Smart dialogue. The discussions between Alice and Hayden about journalism and truth are sharp and thought-provoking. The dialogue overall feels warm, real, and deeply human. The slow burn romance. Alice and Hayden's relationship develops gradually and naturally. Its maturity felt refreshing. Emotional depth. It made me reflect on the stories we choose to tell about ourselves and how that affects the people around us. What didn't work for me? The slow pace. The first half is heavy on descriptions and Margaret's stories, which dragged a little before the payoff became clear. Predictable ending. Margaret's final choice and the romantic outcome between Alice and Hayden were both pretty obvious from early on. There weren't many surprises. Why this book feels different for Emily Henry. For the first time, Henry steps away from lighthearted comedy and quick romance to dive into mature, emotionally complex drama. There's a hint of Sally Rooney or Taylor Jenkins Reid here, especially in how deeply she explores her character's psychology. And did it work? Absolutely. Emily Henry's writing feels more mature than ever. Personally, I think this is her best book so far. Who should read this book? If you love stories about complex characters and family secrets, this is for you. If you enjoy human, emotional stories that explore deeper questions, you'll love it. If you're only looking for a quick, fluffy romance, this might feel heavy. If you're already a fan of Emily Henry, you'll appreciate seeing how much her writing has grown. Great Big Beautiful Life is a story about the narratives we share with the world and the ones we keep to ourselves. It's not a typical romance. It's mature, warm, and bittersweet. It might not be Henry's lightest book, but it's definitely the one that will leave the deepest impression. That's my personal take. Now tell me in the comments. Have you read it? Are you planning to? What did you think?